Welcome to another episode of Who Will Be King. I am here with a couple of my NFC North partners, and we're back. We're dealing with the scandals over in Green Bay, but the NFL has actually given us some real football news this week. We'll get to the hot news around the NFL, but before we do that, we're going to start off in our respective teams in our cities and talk some OTA news and a few other things. I'm gonna start with Dave. You got some brand new news regarding your front office. What do we have?
Well, today they had the introductory press conference for Nolan Teasley, our new general manager, who was announced Monday, I believe it was. And so after Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah gets fired on his way back from the Senior Bowl, we now have a GM. And I like him. He sounds like a good individual. He grew up a football guy. He's 42 years old. He spent 13 years going from intern to assistant GM for the Seahawks. He has 2 Super Bowls under his belt, and hopefully he will help the Minnesota Vikings win their first one.
That's important.
It is.
And I will let you get out of here without talking the JJ news or just talking JJ in general. I saw a clip of him throwing what most people call a hospital ball. I think that was to Ayuk. Did you get a chance to check that out?
It wasn't to Ayuk. It was to
Jennings.
Jennings.
The
Yes.
other guy.
Juwan Jennings. Yes, I did see that. That was about the only place you could put that ball to where it was catchable. But yes, in a real game, Jennings may have gotten his head taken off, but we will see. JJ's look good. The only problem is that Kyler Murray's look better.
I like that segue. I did float you the article. I was just going to spring it on you. You probably didn't even get a chance to check it out, but there was a report from an anonymous former GM that he wanted out of Minnesota, which kind of, the awkwardness of the Kyler Murray situation, and I'm talking about kids in the classroom and, kind of a eerie conversation. But any thoughts on, because it's, of course, you being anonymous, it doesn't mean much, but they also question his maturity at times. But any thoughts about that part?
I haven't read the direct article. I think I read the original from it. I think it's media, and then in particular this ex-GM, trying to stir up smack. There has been talk on our side that, well, we've got Kyler Murray. He's playing so great. It's the preseason football. We've gone through what? This is the second week of OTAs. Give us a break. That JJ you're just going to waste him sitting him on the bench. It's the OTAs, just the second week. Well, Kyler Murray's going to play great. Well, has he ever? He's been a, quote, top 10 quarterback. It sounds like Kirk Cousins. Now, do I believe J.J. McCarthy's taken the next step? He looks like he's improved. Do I believe he's throwing better and doing everything better than Kyler Murray? Not at this time. But out of the last 4 years, I think 3 of them, when they went to 3 quarterbacks during the season. And getting rid of JJ would be foolish, in my opinion. But it's a possibility. I have no idea how JJ took the getting Kyler Murray other than his motivation. He sounded a little bitter last week when he had his press conference. But with the whole, I'm on one side of the classroom and he's on the other, quote. But does he want traded? I have no idea. And if we do trade him, when do we get the best value for him? Do you trade him before the preseason? Before the season starts? You almost guaranteed with Minnesota's luck, if you do that, Kyler Murray's going to get hit by a bus on week 1 and we'll be down to Carson Wentz. It doesn't make sense to me. I think JJ will have to fight, which I want him to take the starting job. And he may have to hope for some luck. But he's still the only top 10 quarterback Minnesota has ever drafted. And if they get rid of him now, if they trade him, it's malpractice, in my opinion. But we will see.
All right, so let's switch lanes to Chicago. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kyler Murray was a very good quarterback before he hurt his leg.
Yeah.
Like a top 7 or some quarterback.
It depends on the rankings, but he's generally around. He's ranked as high, I want to say, as maybe 7, but I've seen, 10th-ish. But he's also ranked lower, which makes him sound like Kirk Cousins to me.
After he hurt his leg, I mean, he tore his knee, didn't he?
ACL
right?
Thing, yeah. But
give him a break.
Well, I'm giving him a break. I'm just
not
saying.
The literal break. He's had enough of those.
He got that break.
It's just, I hope whoever starts, it takes the purple to the Super Bowl. I don't care who it is. It could be the We Win a One, which I've been told, David, you're being disrespectful when you use that term. And I said, I'm not disavowing him. I want him to succeed, but I'm heightist. I believe football players should be minimum 6 feet. I prefer 6'2", but minimum 6 feet. Unless they're the punter or the kicker, and I don't care about those two. But generally, size with those, at least punter helps. But
punters are big nowadays.
Yeah. But whoever we have, just as long as they take us to the Super Bowl, I'll be happy. Win us some games, baby. Win us some games. Absolutely. Get us into the playoffs and win some playoff games. Kyler's only won one of those.
Well, I'll start on a lighter note with Chicago. Lighter than what we're going to get to, because we know we have to talk about certain aspects. But you have a cover athlete. Caleb Williams is on the cover of Madden. Do you believe in the Madden curse?
No one should believe in the Madden curse, because it has been what's the word I want to use? It's destroyed.
Broke it.
Yeah, someone broke it. You know who broke it, Foster. Let me ask you. You know who broke the Madden curse, don't you?
Yeah, did Calvin have a great year the year he had?
Calvin Johnson broke the Madden curse, and
Do you remember when Peyton Hillis was on the cover?
Wasn't that before Calvin?
Probably before, but how ridiculous was that, though? That was crazy.
Well, yeah. For one, why are you giving the cover to a Cleveland Brown? And for two,
in general,
Peyton Hillis? I mean, that was bound. I guess Madden said, "Hey, we ain't gonna be too much longer. He gonna be cold. So we might as well get this off now." And too late.
But you asked why they give a cover to Cleveland. I asked why they give a cover to Chicago. It's their first
they
ever.
Can't give it. They can't give it to nobody in Minnesota, Dave. And if you
that's fine. I don't want it anywhere near Minnesota.
Give it to somebody who's got all the aura as Caleb Williams, who's the Iceman. Have you seen the behind the scenes photo shoot for the Madden cover?
What kind of throw was he doing? Is that something that's regulation appropriate? Like, he was doing the splits.
It's a takeoff from his famous what was that, 4th and 20? I forgot what the exact down and distance it was. But when he did that against the Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay playoff. Yes, because Green Bay was in the playoffs. So he did that against Green Bay in the playoffs last year on that throw to Roma Dunze to save their season and ended the Green Bay Packers season all in one. It was a fantastic throw, one of the best throws you'll ever see. And that's exactly how you get on the cover of Madden. Shout out to Caleb Williams for being so cold to get on a Madden cover. Shout out to the Bears for being on top of the NFL world right now. I love it.
Did you see he got a necklace given to him of that throw?
Chain?
Yes. Well, whatever. And it's got of him doing it's almost a Jordan-esque.
Don't do that.
Hey, that's what they say. Hey, we've already put those two together. I got a shirt. Hey, wait till I bring that shirt out. I got a shirt with the Iceman with the Jordan logo on it. It's cool.
Now,
so I can't wait.
I called it a necklace. You called it a chain. What does he call it?
I will hope he calls it a chain. Don't make me look bad at the chain.
Yeah,
don't embarrass me.
That's the best question. But, the last couple Madden cover guys, Saquon Barkley definitely had a step back.
Go on.
McCaffrey, my guess is he probably got hurt that year because he normally does, although he didn't last year. Shout out to him and my fantasy team. Josh Allen in 24. John Madden in 23. And then in 22, it was Mahomes and Brady. And I'm sure they probably went to the Super Bowl.
Brady had it twice.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had it several times. This was Tampa Brady. So yeah. So not a bad lineup. I guess not these players didn't have disastrous years that year, but we'll see what Mr.
I think if you go all the way back to when I said that the curse was broken with Calvin Johnson, I think top of my head there was Gronk, who missed most of his year with most of his season being hurt. I believe it was a toe or a hamstring, something like that. I don't forget. There was CMC, but like you said, he's always hurt. So I will put that down as an obvious curse here. But again, with the caveat that he's always hurt.
Right.
And then you have Saquon. I will put that as a half curse because he had a substandard year for him. And when you juxtapose, against the season he had prior, he had 2,000-yard season. The team won the Super Bowl. It was obviously going to be some regression there. So the team still did go to the playoffs. He still was 1,000-yard back. He wasn't the Saquon that he had the year before. But do we really want to put that to a curse? I don't know. I think that's a little parse. But here's the thing.
So you're suggesting Caleb's going to regress this year?
I'm not regressing that. Caleb can't regress.
And he had his patented pose. Barkley had his patented pose the same way Caleb did.
There's no way you can regress from what Caleb did. Statistically, Caleb can only go up from where he was at. Here's the thing about the curse, though. It's typically only running backs, if you notice that. It's running backs who get hit the curse. Mm-hmm. Caleb is a quarterback. And you're only quarterbacks that are, shall we say, a little bit more melanated get cursed. Culpepper, Mike Vick. Yeah. The other ones, no curse.
Brady got cursed.
No. He's only been on there twice.
Oh, yeah. He got an injury 1 year because of it. But yeah, that was Dante, without a doubt.
Yeah, I had that. I had that Madden with Culpepper on the cover. Brutal. And the Vikings was my squad. Brutal. I had my favorite Madden cover. What was your favorite Madden game? My favorite was the 05, Ray Lewis. He might have been cursed. They didn't make the playoffs that year. So I don't know.
Yeah, that whatever year, that Ray Lewis year might have been the year that they created the hit stick. And if so,
it was. It was a banger. Hey, that was my
good soundtrack, you know.
Ooh. I gave up so many touchdowns trying to lay somebody out.
Yeah. You do that mess it up. Yeah. Good old Madden. But yeah, I reluctantly ask, do we have any more stadium news? Gotta ask every week.
We've got tons of stadium news. What do you mean? Do we have any more stadium news? So since the last episode, I am back to tell y'all I was right. On more than one occasion at that. I love patting myself on the back. The first time, remember when this all came down, the Bears put that line in the sand talking about, well, the legislative period ends on May 31st. It's either they get something done for us or we going to Indiana. And I told y'all right here and there, I said, that's cap. They ain't going nowhere. 64 hours ago, that legislative period ended. And where are the Bears at? They are still on Lakeshore Drive. Gee. Don't know when we're going to go to Indiana. Be for real. Be for real right now. Y'all seen that Michael Jackson movie? What was the thing that Joe was telling them at the beginning of the movie? I want to get my family out of Gary. All the way back in the 60s, people was trying to get out of Indiana. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Illinois and them called the bluff. I told y'all it was all just business posturing. They don't want to go to Indiana. If they wanted to do anything, they'd have put shovels in the ground in Arlington a long time ago. But I'm gonna tell you the rundown of what happened this weekend. For those that ain't paying attention. So the mega projects bill, which has been called, it died because it didn't have support. I'm going to tell you why it didn't have support. I'm going to tell you exactly why I was right again. It died around, I forgot what time of the night because I was watching it. And around 4 a.m, the Senate passed a new stripped down bill just for the Bears. I forgot what it was called. It was going to just be get the Bears what they wanted, they tax certainty. It was going to put public ownership on the new stadium, exactly what the Bears wanted. But the House did not vote on it because they claimed they didn't have time to review it. BS. But in any case, the reason why the mega projects bill died because it didn't have enough support is because Chicago. I told you last year, I said nothing happens in the state of Chicago without Chicago. I told you, Brandon Johnson is not going to let this fall on. Now, Brandon Johnson's not Mayor Daley. He don't have that type of political power in the state of Illinois. Granted, I will give everybody that. But they are still 30-ish or some odd state legislators
live in
down there.
Chicago. Yeah.
All of them. There's nothing going to happen without Chicago getting a taste. It's not going to happen. But Brandon Johnson even came out. He had an interview, I forget, I think it was with NBC yesterday. He admitted that, yeah, I lied against it, and I'll do it again. That's when you let the GDs in the door, it's over. We in here now. To segue to the next part, he said the reason he did it because he's still in contact with the Bears. The Bears and him are still talking. They are still going back and forth trying to get a deal done, which coincidentally pisses off more people in Springfield. They're like, why are you still doing your back channel business with Chicago, and you talking to us about Arlington Heights? You get in front of the cameras talking about Arlington or Hammond, Arlington or Hammond. Why are you still talking to Brandon Johnson about Chicago? It's kind of messy all around. I'm not saying it's Springfield's fault. I'm not saying it's the mayor Brandon Johnson's fault. I'm not even saying it's the Bears' fault. It's all their fault. You can throw some blame on Kevin Warren. There's been talk. There's been not even talk. It's been reported that him and the Bears hired a whole bunch of lobbyists to go down to Springfield and handle their business for him, and everything that they told him to do, Kevin Warren is in the opposite. When he was hired to do one thing: get this funding stadium done. He has not done that. Now he's done great in his other parts of his job, but to this point, he has not did exactly what he was hired to do. In fact, him and McCaskey, the Bears owner, they weren't even in Springfield when this bill was getting voted on. Now, there were some other high-ranking members of the Bears. They were there, but those two, the CEO and the owner, if they're not there, they probably already knew what was going to happen. They already knew that they weren't going to have the votes. Because why they didn't have the votes? Because they was already still in bed with Brandon Johnson and Chicago. Speaking of that, Pritzker, he refused to spend any political capital to push this bill through. A lot of people assume that he's got his eyes on much bigger priorities outside of, Illinois. Maybe, I don't know. But he's been saying that his priority is to protect the taxpayers instead of subsidizing a privately owned stadium for a billionaire franchise. We're going to play politics. Fine. Brandon Johnson, I told you all, was it a week or 2 weeks ago that he needs to get out of this because the Bears keep saying they're not interested in Chicago, but he's just going down there to muck things up. Apparently, that was the one part I was wrong on. He's not mucking it up because they still answering them DMs. If you're going to ignore somebody properly in the DM, you ignore them properly or you block them. They're still entertaining Brandon Johnson, so therefore, don't blame Mayor BJ for anything that he do. Which brings us to what's next. Indiana is not next. It's probably going to mess around and still be Chicago. They're going to probably mess around and build some crazy monstrosity somewhere in Chicago. It's going to tie up traffic so bad that's going to piss everybody off until the Bears win the Super Bowl. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't know. But it's at this point, it's hilarious. Dave, I know this is one of your favorite topics going on in the NFC, but it's starting to get funny at this point. I mean, and even to pull some of the levity back, it is extremely difficult what all parties involved are trying to get done. The Bears, Illinois, all of it. To try to get state subsidies for a team to move from one city to another within the same state, you don't really hear about teams doing that too much. Even, I think the Pistons, you know what? No. Yeah, when they left Pilots of Auburn Hills, they moved back downtown. You know what? No, because the Red Wings, they own that stadium, right? So it was a different type of deal. Here in Atlanta, the Braves didn't get Georgia money to move to Cobb County. No, Cobb County gave them money to leave Summerhill, and they just boom. It wasn't no state money involved with that. Dallas, what's going on right now? Dave, where you're familiar with what's going on in Texas. Texas is not giving the Mavericks and who's the other team? The hockey team. They're not giving them money to move. Yeah. This is something that's happening they're getting money from another municipality to handle their business. Getting state money to move from state to state is kind of difficult. Santa Clara with the 49ers. Santa Clara gave the 49ers money to come out of San Francisco. It wasn't California. So while it is funny to me, what they're trying to do is incredibly, I don't want to use the word unprecedented because I'm sure it's happened at some point, but it's going to be a tall task. So stay tuned.
When Minnesota tried, they were going to move. First, they threatened to move to Los Angeles. And then they decided, well, they bought land or looking at buying land in the northern suburbs. That was the old ammunition factory. And they were going to do that. But they got the city to buy off on, no, build it downtown at the existing site of the Metrodome. And we will keep all those taxes and stuff that we already had in place, which Chicago has in place, and we'll bond you out for, the rest. They built the stadium. It worked. Now, Chicago, that bill, that last-minute bill that came out of the Senate was to set up community sports authorities and let them get all the money it needs, put out the bonds for building the stadium. Hammond the next day, or not Hammond, but Arlington Heights the next day, no, we're not doing that. Hammond says, we've already done that. Come on down, break ground, all that sort of stuff. Chicago, what I read, Mayor Johnson says it's been in place since like 1967 that Chicago has a stadium authority, and it's Illinois IFSA, Illinois Facilities Sports Authority, blah, blah, blah. And they get 2% of hotel taxes, and there's probably some other ones in there.
IFSA runs the Comiskey, whatever the thing is called, where the Sox play, and Soldier Field right now. But go on, Dave.
Comiskey is old.
But they are working on using that money to say, hey, stay on the lakeshore. Let's make something work on the lakeshore. And the whole problem about the lakeshore is they tried it. They wanted the whole museum district, and some people blocked and said, no, you can't have this parking lot. And it's just been a to and from, and this is ridiculous sort of thing. And it's going to be interesting to see if it ever plays out. Now, I was listening to one of your old Chicago reporters, and he says he was there when it played at the old Comiskey. He used to hang off the fence. And he goes, Chicago Bears used to play in absolute, garbage places, but Chicago Bears fans are used to that, and they'll more than likely continue to go to Bear Stadium down at Soldier Field. The only problem is the NFL doesn't like Soldier Field. Doesn't meet the NFL standards.
Will be, the Bears used to play at Wrigley Field before they came to Soldier Field in the early 70s. And Dave, when they left Wrigley Field, even all the way back in the 70s, their Papa Bear, George Hallis, he was trying to move the team to Arlington Heights then. But politics kept him in the city. Couldn't get it done.
Sounds like politics will keep him in the city.
That's exactly right. Can't leave Chicago. Good night.
Those of us that are rooting for Hammond are still rooting for Hammond.
He said us. All right. We still got to get the Packers and Lions news. We're going to take our first break, though, and then we'll see what's on the other end of that. As far as the Cheese Weasels are concerned, keep it brief, but the latest news on Micah Parsons, the target date or target time is mid-October. So he's saying 4 months. So that's where we're at, which is about probably it's about mid-season? I don't know, September.
It's about close to that point. So he's going to start the season on PUP, which we've already assumed that was going to be the case. The first 4. So automatically, once that designation is official, he's out for September. That's 4 weeks in September. So he's out for all of September.
Half of October. Because the season starts late this
year. Yeah, it does start a little late.
It starts around 9/10, 9/11.
Yeah.
You're right, 9/13. 9/13 is week 1. So he will be out for a week. He'll still miss the first 4 weeks, so that'll put him on target for the second Sunday in October. I don't think he'll be ready by then, but
I read something here just a bit ago that Green Bay reiterates an ACL tear. They keep their players out minimum 9 months. Minimum. There's no coming back earlier than that.
Thanks for that reiteration, Green Bay. We needed that as if we didn't already know.
Mhm.
And yeah, outside of that, as far as OTA news, Zaire Franklin, who is assuming the role as captain on the defensive side, is getting adjusted and acclimated to being a new face as a veteran. Obviously, he's used to to manning the headset, but he described it as intimidating. He's a guy that was a late draftee way back when, but he's carved a nice career for himself. He's a year removed from his top season where he had 174 tackles, 5 forced fumbles, 3.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions. So very impressive from a 29-year-old, but he feels like he has a lot in the tank. So that's that. Josh Jacobs has returned to practice. Obviously, there was a lot of hoopla going around last week, and he was out, but he's back once again. Claiming innocence and trying not to be a distraction. And lastly, Bo Melton, who initially was a wide receiver, played some corner last year because they needed some help over on that end. But he's back exclusively in the wide receiver room, and they welcome him back in and feel that he's in much better spirits. As I don't think he wanted to be a defensive back. He just wanted to kind of help out a depleted group. But I'm sure Jordan Love is happy to have him fully focused as receiver and as a receiver. And speaking of Jordan Love, he's a brand new father. So getting adjusted and trying to get some sleep amidst all of the craziness of having a newborn baby. So
Yeah, he's quite happy he's a girl dad.
yeah, yeah, Mr. Love. And yeah, and as far as the Detroit Lions are concerned, we did make a hiring of our personnel executive, and it's a former longtime GM of the Miami Dolphins, whose legacy in Miami anyway is pretty much solidified as having some big hits and some big misses. He did hit on Mika Fitzpatrick, Xavier Howard, Van Ginkel. You're familiar with that guy, but also some misses. Yeah, he did draft Tua, and he did have an expensive trade for Tyreek Hill that was not able to get them over the hill. They went 0-3 as in the playoffs, and they did have and they did have five winning seasons, and they were 0-3 in the playoffs. So ultimately came short. But, we'll see what he can get done in Detroit. Outside of that, as far as on the field and OTAs, we got some new situations on the offensive line. We got Penei Sewell taking over on the blind side. And as of right now, not Blake Corn, what's his name? Borum, whatever, is getting the starter reps at right tackle with Blake Miller getting work as well. We've got some more opportunities for Ennis Rakestraw, who was drafted in the second round after Terrion Arnold, but he's been injured, has not touched the field in the regular season at all. So he's getting some extra work with Terrion Arnold out opposite of DJ Reed. In addition to that, we still got some guys sidelined, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, and Kirby Joseph. No surprises there, although Sam Laporta is getting some walkthrough reps. So he's obviously a little bit closer to returning than the other guys. And as I mentioned, with Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch out, we're getting a good look at Izian and Chuck Clark, who are two veteran safeties who, will hopefully be the bulk of their work will be in the backup position. More so, but Brian Branch will not start the year. Hopefully Kirby Joseph will be back sooner than later. But between Izian and Chuck Clark, he got 123 games and 80 starts. So a lot of experience between the two for guys that are primarily in the backup role, but at any point could be thrown into the fold as starters. So that's pretty much all we got going on in Detroit as of right now. But let's get to, as I alluded to early on in the show, we had 2 trades on Monday, pretty much back to back. Yeah. We
Has anybody called Brandon Ayuk yet?
is he still missing? Tim said he's from the Popo in Minnesota. What is that all about? Did I miss something there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
what's going on with him? Why is I don't know. Ever since he got hurt, he's just been AWOL.
So is he a free
Uh,
agent?
yeah, because the 49ers say, get this guy up off of here. Well, he's not technically a free agent. He's the 49ers, well, he's a free agent in not in normal standings. The 49ers don't want him back, but he still got a contract. I, I believe that's right? Did they void his contract? I don't know. You know what? Now I'm not even sure.
I have no idea.
He didn't return to the team last year when he was supposed to, and the 49ers said, we're washing our hands with this guy. And now he has a arrest warrant out for a misdemeanor speeding. Not like, Jordan Addison. I mean, he doesn't even speed right anymore. So, I mean, he's got a misdemeanor. He's got a misdemeanor speeding citation that he apparently did not show up to court for. I mean, just if you got an arrest warrant for a misdemeanor, then the least you could do is show up to court.
Or at least cut them the check and call it good.
Right, which should be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, if they charged you, right? So if they charged you, was probably doing, let's say, he was probably doing like 90 and a 40, something like that. Something that you had to go to court to see the judge. Usually you go to traffic court. If the police officer, if the arresting officer, not arresting officer, but if the officer that gave you the ticket, if he's there, if he's not there, throw the ticket out, right? But he didn't even show up to court. That's how you get the arrest warrant.
Right.
So
depends on the state.
and you're
Obviously,
right.
Virginia, you got pulled over, you could be 5 miles over. They're going to write you a ticket. Now, whether you dispute it or not, it's up to you. You could sign it and send in your check. It's, always, what time of the month is it? All right. Send in your check and it'll clear. Or you can go to court and say, Your Honor, this is BS. I was not speeding. This is da-da-da-da-da. And what you hope for is the
Cop doesn't
officer that pulled you over isn't there.
Right.
Because then it gets thrown out. I wonder if there was something like that and he just didn't show. That automatically turns into an arrest warrant.
Yeah, I had one of them type of situations in Indiana. This is why I don't like. So I think it was 2019, 2018, something like that. I was doing like 101 on the 55. So I got pulled over. They said you got to come to court for that. Yeah, it's reckless driving. You got to come to court for this one. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm not coming all the way to Indiana to go to court, man. Tell me how much I owe. Whatever, right? Then what saved me? The pandemic happened. It's like
saved by the bug.
Right. No court.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Fun. So let's talk about these trades because these both popped up on Mondays. I thought we would only have OTAs and maybe some other scandals to talk about, but we got blockbuster trades post draft right before training camp. The first one we're going to talk about is the Myles Garrett one.
Well, it popped up on Monday, June 1st. The NFL has now got another date that everybody's got to watch. What happened on the calendar?
Well, explain. What is that about?
Well, June 1st is the date that a team can release a player and spread out their salary cap hit over 2 years, right? And it used to not be a big thing. Right. Teams would not do that, but more and more teams are into, let's move these certain players at this time because we want to free up some money here or do something else or whatever. And it's become now more of a tradition, and there's two big ones. This first of where, boom, they release them. You also get signings of all those vets that are, has made it through free agency so far and hadn't signed with anybody because nobody wants to give them the guarantee, salary because whatever it is or whatever the reason is, and it won't count towards the losing team's salary cap.
Right. It's like you said, guarantees kick in on June 1st. Like if you're still on the squad post June 1st, your salary or your guarantee becomes becomes a guarantee, right? So those things, that's why June 1st is one of those another day, like you said, Dave, that you got to pay attention to. That's why you want to you cut ex-player if you don't really want them. You try to trade them before June 1st, but if you can't trade them, you cut them before June 1st. Segue.
And it's just like we cut Hargrave and Allen and Harrison Smith, and it was, I want to say, Hargrave that we gave a June 1st designation as well as Harrison Smith. Now, if Harrison Smith, Hitman, decides he wants to come back, I've said it for months now. It's going to be after June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for those listening on the audio side, we'll give you a full breakdown of the trade. The LA Rams will receive Myles Garrett, one of the best players in all of the NFL, has all the defensive accolades that you can think about. And in exchange, the Browns will get Jared Verse, a young, promising, edge rusher to kind of reset their, timeline. Obviously, they had a lot of money tied into Myles Garrett, and they're going nowhere fast. So they get to replenish their team a little bit with some future draft picks. They get a first, second, and a third for the next 3 years. My first thoughts are, they just traded for Trent McDuffie and extended him. So obviously they're going all in trying to win. I think they just re-signed. I think they just extended Matthew Stafford as well. So, the timeline is now to try to win a championship. It's kind of a Super Bowl or a bust for them. But Pay, you seem like you got a lot that you want to get off your chest, or you got some strong feelings about it.
I cannot wait to cook Cleveland on Friday. Check out Friday, the AFC North Roundtable show that we do over here on the Fans First Sports Network. Also, for Fans First Sports Network. That's for the homies. That's our AFC North show. I am
Do they
going
have
to
a representative over there?
For Cleveland? No, that's
Yeah.
why I get to talk about them without
I was like,
unencumbered. No.
So the AFC North is like the NFC North.
Not as good.
Yeah, but 3 of the 4 teams show up for a
Yeah, right. You're correct.
division
only
show.
3.
I got you.
Only 3. But yeah, this wasn't even the most. Well, this move was the most shocking. But this isn't the move that raised my eyebrow the most. But remember when we were debating? We're not debating, but discussing like, man, if Myles Garrett's available, man, it's gonna cost a lot. Remember we had that talk? We were like, man, I don't want to give up, 3 first-round picks and, all this other stuff. Now, no disrespect to Jerry Verse. Jerry Verse is a really good player. I like him. I think he's going to be, I think he's got a few Pro Bowls, maybe an All-Pro in his future. But Jerry Verse and what? It was a first, a second, and a third for Miles Garrett. If that's all it took, Ryan Poles, we haven't said your name. We haven't said your name a lot this offseason, Ryan Poles, because we let you we got off you for a minute. No diddy. We've been talking about Kevin Warren and the stadium, Mike McCaskey, Caleb Ben Johnson. We've been chill on you, Ryan. Ryan, what are you, bro? Bro, if that's all it took, I don't know why is your phone not steady in your hand. That's all it took.
Who would have been your Jared Verse though? You did it.
We got we could put 7 players together to make a Jared Verse. There's a bunch of players we can get rid of. if we got to throw in another second round pick to get it done, by all means. Miles, I was concerned that we have to give up multiple firsts and maybe a second to get Myles Garrett, to even get Myles Garrett to the table. And only a 1, 2, 3 and Jared Verse. Now, again, the Bears don't have a Jared Verse. You're right. We don't have a player ready to go now to replace Myles Garrett. I mean, but you could take Montez Sweat. Fuck it. You could take Montez Sweat and Austin Booker. Take both of our starting edges. Just make sure Myles Garrett is on the plane to O'Hare.
Yeah, except Sweat is probably the same age as Myles Garrett. Might be older. how old is that guy? I don't even know.
I think he's a year older.
But yeah, I don't know. I always feel like when I compare trades, that the Lions could have had, I always feel like, we don't get that deal. Somebody else gets that deal. That's just my pessimistic Detroit sports fandom in me. But yeah, I feel like it always looks a little different when it comes to us. That's just in my mental. But Dave, what do you think about, because I mean, Jared Verse is a promising, I think
he's in his time in the league so far, which is only 2-3 years, he's second most on pressures. He's good. He hasn't made it over 8 sacks this season, but he's very good at pressuring.
He's from Ohio.
He's from Ohio.
Dayton.
Now, he was disappointed when he heard the news, but he's warmed up to it.
When you be disappointed going from LA to Cleveland?
Now,
probably wasn't a Browns fan. He's probably a Chiefs fan.
He's probably a little bit happy when his agent goes, yeah, but you're going to keep more of your money in your pocket now, taxes. There's, but it's for Verse. I'm happy for him. Let him. It's yeah, it's an ugly uniform, but it's you could you grew up in Ohio. Now you can become a star in Ohio. So I hope that happens. Now, what I don't like is that LA got a whole lot better, and that NFC West is like we've all seen the dragons with all the real mean looking dragons, and then the one goofy one. That's the NFC West.
One goofy.
Oh, the goofy one being the Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the 49ers are like, well, we're just trying to stay healthy. And you have Seattle and you have the Rams. And the Rams just got a whole lot better. They should have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. And thankfully, none of us play them this year. Who are they scheduled with in the division? The Packers.
Yeah.
Wow.
On Thanksgiving Eve. And I hope they kick their butts.
Parsons will be back.
The Rams kick the Packers' butts.
That you can't have Thanksgiving without a turkey, right?
Uh-huh.
The Packers are going to be a turkey.
Yeah.
The first ever Thanksgiving Eve game, you got turkey being served.
And I think it's going to be fun and fantastic and a great way to start out the holiday.
Would it?
For the Rams, have you heard that Aaron Donald might unretire
I don't need this in my life.
and come join to play with Myles Garrett?
Listen.
He'll only be 35 this season.
Only?
Okay.
He's still, 35 is a bit ancient for professional sports, for an athlete, especially a football player, especially a front seven football player. But Aaron Donald, he still posts workout videos from time to time. Oh my God. I don't know. No. He is a freak. Him and Miles Garrett put together, they are the most physically imposing two players I can ever imagine staring down on this staring down your quarterback. Listen, man, the winner of this trade is Joe Burrow. He doesn't have to deal with Myles Garrett, right? He got him out of the division. Boom. Joe Burrow has one less thing to worry about. But the loser of this trade is Cleveland. Everybody's talking about, man, it's a lot to get Myles Garrett. And that's what they accept. They accept Jared Verse and 1, 2, 3 draft picks. Cleveland, this is exactly why your lake caught on fire. This is exactly why nothing good ever happens for y'all.
What is Cleveland good at?
Cleveland's obviously ruining my life.
No, but for the Brownies, what are they good at? They are good at being horrible. Where the Browns punt.
Consistency.
Yeah.
It's crazy that despite all this, the Rams still were able to keep their first round. I mean, they traded one away to the Chiefs, but they still were able to keep their first round pick of this year, although it was kind of a weird pick, the quarterback, Simpson. But yeah, they just the rich get richer, I guess.
Yeah. F them pick. They're doing something different than anybody else. They're taking their first rounders and getting established players with them.
You all remember how it wasn't fun playing the Rams when it was just Aaron Donald. Now just, all right, we don't have Aaron Donald no more. Guess what? We're going to get Myles Garrett.
Yeah. It's the moves that us Lions fans, we never, build through the draft. We never, go all in and take chances like that. And that's probably why, chances make champions and we haven't won one. But I won't dwell on that too long. Let's get to the next trade. Let's see if I can. In less shocking news, obviously AJ Brown has been rumored to be on the move since last year, and finally he was traded to the New England Patriots for a first-round pick in 2028 and a fifth-round pick in 2027. Obviously, the Patriots went to the Super Bowl last year, but now they have a top-tier receiver, ish. But now he has a much better throwing quarterback to work with, so he should be happy. And, the Patriots didn't really have a great receiving core last year. This is certainly a upgrade from Stephon Diggs. So, yeah.
He's still available.
Yeah, just hanging around.
You can only have one cheater on your roster in your locker room at one point, Dave. You can only have one.
That's right.
So, yeah, does this help? Is this going to help New England remain atop the AFC amongst, I guess, the cheater you're talking about, Vrabel.
Home wrecker. I meant to say home wrecker. You can only have one home wrecker in your locker room. Can't have two.
Right. So, what are you guys' thoughts? I mean, I don't think they gave up a boatload to go get him, a fifth round pick in 2027. You make that decision without even thinking, but they do give up a first round pick. What are you guys' thoughts?
My first thought was, what was the initial offer? Because once the Vrabel and Rossini situation came to light, I know the price had to go down. Like, okay, we're still going to do this trade, but we're not going to do the trade for the original asking price. That's where my mind went to at first. The second thing was Robert Kraft. They basically just threw Vrabel under the bus. Like, okay, yeah, this happened. So Vrabel's been denying it. He's been saying, he's not been accepting of it. He's just like, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna do my work behind the scenes with my family and all that. But this trade assumes that hanky panky between him and Rossini was actually going on.
Why?
Because she's the one that that reported that AJ Brown's going to be on the move, and the Patriots were was a source, well, not a source, but the Patriots were that likely, one of the top suitors. Where did she get that information? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And if you follow, was it the Daily Mail or something like that? There's some other female reporters, big name NFL type, that have come out, are reporting that, yes, it's sort of common that female reporters will sleep with team people.
Wow. Moment of silence.
That's not for what we want, what we're trying to get done here. Well,
but hey, they get the information any way you can.
Hey,
I guess what they're saying is they need more male reporters.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Let me not go too far. I mean, because if you
remember what month we're
that doesn't stop some things. Shout out to Diddy.
But yeah, this is definitely a good look for New England. They don't give up a whole lot, and Denver made a move this year too, right? In the offseason, they go get.
You said Denver?
They went out and got a receiver, I think.
Who did Denver?
They got somebody. I can't remember who it was.
I know the Giants signed a whole slew of receivers.
Yeah,
OBJ, Juju Smith-Schuster were two of them. That's because their roster of
Neighbors
receivers they're decimated. They're all injured.
Yeah, Neighbors looks. He had a dodgeball tournament or something, and he was looking real. He was walking real gingerly. Who did Denver go out and get?
I don't remember Denver. Oh, you know what? I do remember Denver getting a wide receiver. I forgot who it was. They did get another team.
Oh, Jay Waddle. That's what it was.
Yeah, they overpaid for him.
Speaking of overpaid, is CBS overpaying for Russell Wilson?
They've got I don't know if you've been paying attention, Dave, but they've got a lot of money freed up from CBS News, freed up a lot of money recently. So they can pay. They've got it. They can pay Russell Wilson. I'm curious to see how he's going to do in a booth. I know he's a very eloquent guy, but calling a game is not that easy. So I'm interested to see what they do. How he does.
Tom Brady made him.
I'm happy for him.
Right?
Tom Brady had to work at that because he was not good at.
Yeah, when he started out, Tom Brady was rough, but he's gotten a lot better.
That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT. I'm happy that Russ finally called it a career because listen, it's been over for a long time.
Now, I heard the question: is he worthy of the Hall of Fame? He's got 10 Pro Bowls and 1 Super Bowl.
Sounds good to me.
So here's my thoughts on this. Me, no matter what sport, once you are a Hall of Fame player, I don't think you could do anything to make yourself a non-Hall of Fame player except for Russell Wilson.
Dang.
I think Russell was on the brink. He was on the verge of being a Hall of Fame player at one point in his career. And then what happened after that, everything just started like, no. He's had a lot of no's.
If he beats New England instead of instead of giving the ball, then he would have solidified it in your.
Because he went for the MVP on that play. He went to get the Super Bowl MVP, and I think he's had maybe 2 good years since then. But again, if you remember, you got to go back to Seattle. he will start off in the MVP conversation. You'll get all the way to sort of like Kyler Murray. He'll get all the way until November, mid-November, then he'll fall off a cliff. And he's only had, since that Super Bowl that you brought up, I think maybe 2, maybe 3 good seasons, and that was 10 years ago.
Weird.
Is it because of his size?
The weed.
I don't think so.
I told you I'm a heightist.
I don't think his stature has anything to do with it. He's had one, even lately. He still had one of the best deep balls, in the league. I mean, he can, he can float that boy.
They called it his moon because he would arch that sucker up,
man. So I mean, it's. I would be shocked to see him in the Hall of Fame.
Everything Bears shows asking where the Bears fan is.
So, I mean, I think the NFL. I think the NFL does its Hall of Fame mostly correct as it relates to the other sports. The NBA doesn't do it right at all. The NHL, they're pretty cool. The MLB, I like some of the things they do, but I think they're a little bit too strict. I think the NFL is the right mix. The NFL keeps only enshrines the greats. They don't put in good for a few years like the NBA players will do. They only enshrine greats. I think Russell's just not that great enough.
Like Eli Manning.
Like I say, he was on.
And Eli won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for Eli. If we're going to see how long it takes to get Eli to get in, because Eli missed on the first ballot. Mm-hmm. And however long it takes Eli to get in, because I do think he's going to get in, just off the strength of those 2. And that's crazy. He's only got playoff wins in those 2 years. Mm. I think Eli's going to get it off the strength of those 2 seasons. And however long that takes him, it's going to multiply that for Russell.
Absolutely.
Only 5 people watching? Which channel are you watching on?
Yeah, it depends where you're at. But yeah, we're just about at that hour mark. Let's go around the room. Let us know what you guys got going on. Dave, what's up?
Well, what we've got going on is the Real 4-0 show will be on tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about Nolan Teasley's presser today. All the things he said, which were, I thought, very good. Also, Mark Wilf was asked, how's the power structure? We were wondering if we're going to get another triangle of authority. We are not getting a triangle of authority. We're getting a duopoly where all the power is going to reside with the GM primarily and Teasley and KOC. Those are the only 2 that are allowed to call the Wilfs. So having both of those guys running the show, it's going to be interesting to see Tyler's take on that. Then we'll go into this weekend with Tool Bloggers, myself and Darren, and we will take the whole week's news and give it our long-form old man twists and talk about it there, just like we always do.
Right, and what we got going over on the Frustrated Sports Fan?
Frustrated Hammond Sports Fan.
Everything going on here at the FCSF. As usual, we have Basketball Mondays. We are going to talk more about the stadium situation. That video should come out Friday. Baseball Thursdays as well. We got Sox on Thursday, Cubs Thursday. Trying to pull the Cubs out of the rut and see if the Sox can continue striding high. It's crazy to say, as I believe the Sox are actually the best team, the best baseball team in Chicago right now. That is a wild thing to say. And the Bulls. You'll see on Monday, as the Bulls, we do cover that. That will be sources. My uninformed sources are telling me that the Bulls will be driving home a GM just in time for that show. I think the NBA Finals will be in Game 3 for that time.
All right. And if you're tuning in to the Bleachers to Speakers every Sunday, breaking down the Tigers, they're showing a little bit of life. They just swept Tampa. And, to Pay's point about Chicago, the Sox being the best team, they just swept us this past weekend. So we got that going on. But, outside of that, every Monday, Central Division show for the NBA draft coverage as far as the Pistons are concerned, and pretty light.
Shout out to you.
And then, pretty light on the Lions front right now, but you can catch us every Wednesday doing the NFC North show. So at a real busy show today. What do they say in Chicago, Pay?
Bear down, Chicago Bears.
Go Vikings in Minnesota.
And in Detroit, thanks for joining us.